Greetings one and all from this space rock and beyond. Hey, it's Adia here, and today I want to briefly be talking with you guys about a community on my college campus that I believe displays intellect. Now, if you've ever gone on the CU involvement page or what just got shut down, you're probably aware that Creighton is a host to multitudes of clubs and organizations and has a specific group of clubs which were identified as our cultural clubs. And I think this group is a very amazing and creative group that we should really be getting more involved in as students. Today I'm going to be focusing on the Native Americans Association, which I joined this year as a member. So from that, you now may be questioning and wondering, like, what is her white butt doing in the NAA? That is a very legitimate question, and in all honesty, when I joined, I was asking myself the same thing. I was really nervous to be entering into this community because as a white person, I did not want to be taking away that safe space from another student, a minority student who maybe doesn't have that as a minority. I'm a majority at this school, and I did not want to be taking away that position or taking away that special place from somebody else. But when talking to administration in the NAA recently, I really just came to realize like their heart and desire to make the NAA a club that is universally appreciated. And they were talking to me about how if you come into that club not with a singular mindset, not with just a personal mindset, but more of just an openness, an open mind, you'll be hearing things that you might not agree with. You might be exposed to beliefs that may be different from your own. However, if you're willing to appreciate and accept that as someone else's beliefs, it makes the club so much better for everyone else. You are there to learn, and the club is not about you or about me. It's about the community that we're able to build all together. And that is what they were telling me, and that is what I realized recently. And so anyone out there who is hesitant to join a minority club, first and foremost, reach out to the members of that club to discuss whether or not you joining would be something that is desired, because there are some clubs that may be better or desire at least to have that safe space for students who don't have it anywhere else. But yes, I just wanted to get that out of the way to begin with. And now, with that said, let's dive into what makes the Native Americans Association so important and instrumental in the Creighton community. As I've already said, the Native American Association is a Creighton club, and it is focused on learning and creating community between Native American students and non-Native American students, as well as just educating the general Creighton body on Native American culture and customs. And so the NAA aims to, number 1, educate, number 2, incorporate, and number 3, share, in order to enhance the community between Indigenous and non-Native students at Creighton University and the Omaha community through educational and community building exercises.
Daddy leaves it on all day through. I've been thinking about the war.
Now, I'd like to say, right now in the middle of coronavirus, we're not really able to do much of the outreaches that we would normally be doing, but generally throughout the year we would be having multiple events, inviting the school community to join in, becoming engaged, as well as opportunities to go into the Omaha community through activities such as school events. Each of these activities aim at enhancing relationships as well as developing greater understanding between culture groups. And while these activities may not be going on right now, there are still these discussions and still this desire to create these bonds and relationships that I would encourage you all to look into and find ways to get involved. Now, you see, this desire to build community is one of the greatest drivers of the Native American Association. And so when I was looking into the language and terms that we have within the club, there are no set terms or set languages or set phrases that are just unique to this club, as it really is wanting to be an umbrella for the 574, I believe it is, Native American tribes that are federally recognized in the United States. And as each of these tribes, there's not like a language that is shared amongst all of them. They're all unique, they're all different, they're all special. And so there isn't a set language between tribes. However, there are universal ideas that are generally shared amongst many tribes. One such phrase is Matuki Oyansin. I butchered that pronunciation and I greatly apologize. I have practiced for the past 15 minutes to try to get it right, and yeah, my sincerest apology. And this means all of my relatives. This Lakota term encapsulates much of what the NAA stands for, as is a community of families where all are one. And we are united in sharing a space, energy, concerns, and ideas as one does with their relatives. An additional concept that is instrumental in many Native cultures is the idea of the four directions. While the meaning or visualization of north, south, east, and west may vary between tribes, it is widely known to represent the various stages in life. One might describe themselves in their second hill in their adolescence, then describe themselves in their fourth hill in their final years. These directions also share spiritual meaning, with many beginning their prayers in the east and continuing round to the south, west, and north. And then the final term that I would love to touch on is the idea of Turtle Island. And this is a common phrase used by continental natives to describe, well, this continent. And turtles are one of my favorite animals, so when I heard this phrase, I was just really excited and it made me quite happy. And so yeah, these are just a couple of the phrases and terms that you might hear if you're engaging in a community that is focused on Indigenous appreciation and culture. These are some phrases or understandings that you may want to grow accustomed to or may want to familiarize yourself with. And though it would be perfectly fine attending NAA meetings without these understandings of these phrases, I think they kind of add to a greater appreciation of this organization and culture. Now, if I've piqued your interest and you are looking or excited to get involved in the NAA but are still not quite sure where it fits in the jigsaw that is Creighton life, let me direct you to CU Involved. Now, I'm hoping that you know how to get there. If not, you can just search in your search bar CU Involved and it should be the first thing that comes up. So once you're on the new website, you can either just type NAA into the handy dandy search bar, but that's a little boring, so we're going to do it the hard way. So now what you're going to do is right under the search bar, you will find the Find Organizations tab. Once you open that, it'll take you to a page that is focused on the organizations that call Creighton home. There, select Cultural Club under the categories list. See, this is just showing that the Native American Association is a subgroup of the Culture Club, which is a subgroup of the organizations within Creighton. And then this should provide you with a list of all the culture clubs that you could also join. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll find a link for the Creighton University's Native American Association. There you'll find our mission statements, an email address to help you get connected, some pictures from past events, and the NAA's constitution. And basically, if you have any questions, you can email the email that is provided there, and you can look throughout those pictures. So far, we do not have an Instagram, but we're working to get one up there, and we also have a Facebook page that you can go and check out. Now, having explained the functions and importance of the NAA, I believe it is now time to address why I described them as an intellectual community at the beginning of this video. This is because the organization demonstrates multiple ideas expressed in the works of Nedra Reynolds and Antonio Gramsci. First and foremost, Reynolds describes the notion of a liminal zone in her work, Reading Landscapes. In this, she outlines that a liminal zone is referring to it as a space of ambiguity with a category of inside, outside, public, private, and home, street become blurred or uncertain. I believe this relates to NAA as it is attempting to solidify a permanent liminal zone, and not one that is ambiguous or kind of scary to look at, but one that is appreciated and desired, as it is a blurring of different cultures and different lines in which there is no set boundaries that people are afraid to cross. And it's making a comfortable space where groups can be recognized and validated independently, but also join together to create this new form of community. Additionally, the NAA is an organization focused not on the individual prosperity, rather the bettering of the community through joint efforts. This notion is briefly explored by Gramsci in On Intellectuals, where he identifies organic intellectuals as those who develop their positions through non-traditional means. Now, one cannot simply learn their heritage in a classroom. Rather, it is something that is passed down and that you have to understand and value for yourself. And the NAA is really focused on that and is really intentionally seeking to help people understand their heritage. And while you may not be Native American, it still can give you a greater understanding of your culture and your heritage. And living in the US, you have benefited in some ways from Native cultures, and being able to recognize and understand where that is creates such a better understanding of oneself. And it helps all of us appreciate our cultures and others' cultures as well. Now, I think that's all I have for you guys today, and I really hope you enjoyed this shameless ploy to join the NAA. And, well, I'll catch you on the flip side.
And I know we've got a long way to go, but I've got to believe that change is a choice, and it can start with